people don't know a product like ours exists. I promise you, try us and we will grow your category and we will bring a whole new shopper. And honestly, without Sweet Loren's, the cookie dough category is pretty flat or declining. Our success has been reigniting it and bringing in better for you shoppers, higher basket shoppers, millennials, Gen Z, people with food allergies who would literally just walk right by the section in the past.
This is the E-commerce Brain Trust, a podcast about building momentum online for established consumer brands. Join our hosts and their expert guests for high-level conversations about e-commerce strategies, trends, and innovations. Access our brain trust and boost your brand's e-commerce potential.
Welcome to the E-commerce Brain Trust podcast. I'm Julie Spear, Head of Retail Marketplace Services at Acadia, alongside my co-host, Jordan Ripley, Director of Retail Operations. And today we're kicking off an exciting new series spotlighting female CEOs and founders behind some of the fastest growing and most innovative brands in their respective categories. To set us off on the right foot, we're lucky enough to have Loren Castle, founder of the buzzy and delicious brand Sweet Loren's, joining us today. So without further ado, welcome, Loren. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
And I have to say, as in my house, it's almost like a brush with celeb that I am talking to Sweet Loren herself. My kids, I need every bit of street cred I can get. So thank you for contributing to that.
I get it.
Do your kids, Laura, do they have any understanding of this? I'm curious. And it's just like, yeah, my mom makes cookies. Like,
yeah, no, it's funny. My 4-year-old the other week said, I want to grow up so I can work at Sweet Loren's.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, oh my God, that's adorable. And I would absolutely love that. And I was thinking in my head, how long do I have to, like 15 more years before she can actually realistically really work here? But I was like, what do you want to do at Sweet Loren's? Like, what do you think I do all day? And she's like, I want to make cookies with you. And I'm like, yeah, we do a little bit more than that, running a business. But both my 2 and 4-year-old, if they see the Sweet Loren's logo, they say mommy, they recognize it, they know it, they knew it before they could speak. It's cute. And I can't do drop off and pick up every day or even that often. And I travel quite a bit for work. And thank God I have a great nanny and husband that we rotate and partner on everything. But I will say, like, them growing up, I feel guilty sometimes just not maybe being able to do all the things that some other moms can. But I hope that I'm showing them that you can love your work and you can have a big job and you can have responsibility and you can start your own thing, that seeps in at a young age, that they can kind of do whatever they want.
My kids have about a decade on yours. I have a 13 and 11-year-old, and I often have the same moments of the worry of, I can't do it, be it this or that. Or I think that the example, like you said, for them to be able to see that you can be excited about the work that you do and be with them at the important moments in the day-to-day. It does. It sinks in. They do pick up on it.
I'm glad to hear that.
They better.
And that's then, if it doesn't, then that's when you say, listen. Yeah. Let's kind of start at the beginning. Can you walk us through a little bit about why you started Sweet Loren's and talk a little bit about your origin story?
Sure. So I started the company really out of a personal need. I was diagnosed and survived cancer in my early 20s. Right after I graduated college, I went to USC here in LA for college. I'm from New York. And I was 22 years old. I just graduated college, felt invincible, felt on top of the world. And then crazily enough, was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma and had to go through 6 months of chemo. And my life changed overnight. And I had to move back home, in with my mom, back to New York. And I got really, really serious about health and wellness. I just realized at a really young age how we're not invincible and how if you don't have your health, you have nothing. I went into kind of crazy mode of what else can I do besides what the doctor's protocol is to help enhance my health and wellness and well-being and just resiliency to fight this, to recover, to feel great. Of course, not only did I want to survive going through this cancer treatment, but I wanted to thrive. I was like, I just want to make sure I feel great for the rest of my life. So I started studying nutrition because food to me is the most important thing. It's how our body gets energy every day. If you don't feed it good stuff, how are you going to have great energy? to heal, recover, feel great. So started studying nutrition and started to take cooking classes because I was like, the only reason we don't eat healthier is because either we're not taught it, B, it's too expensive, or C, it doesn't taste good. If I can learn how to cook for myself healthier, then I'll make it delicious and I'll be able to eat it all the time and make myself really healthy and feel great. Loved learning how to cook, but I have a big sweet tooth. I love baking. And there was nothing I could find on the market or even in a lot of cookbooks or even blogs. And again, this is like 15 years ago. So the world just was very different. That was really using as less processed, less inflammatory whole ingredients. So out of that kind of starvation and desire that I wanted for myself, I was like, I'm going to remake a chocolate chip cookie. And I know it's been done a million times, but I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to use more whole grain flours. I'm going to use no dairy. I'm going to use nothing artificial. I'm going to use healthier oils, just the healthier, less processed, but still decadent and delicious. So after hundreds and hundreds of batches, I finally came up with some recipes that my picky younger sister loved and all of our neighbors loved. And I started to realize everyone keeps asking me to bring these cookies everywhere. Everyone I meet actually also wants to find a delicious but healthier way to satisfy their sweet tooth. That's when it went from being my own personal problem solved to actually this could have solved problems for millions of other people. And then I started to study the food industry because I just was so perplexed. I was from New York City. Like you think it has everything. And, the supermarkets, even in New York City, still had the same kind of products that are in all the mass supermarkets where health and wellness isn't at the core. Super delicious taste isn't always their goal. And I just was frustrated. I was like, we're too smart for this. Better food should be available on the shelf because baking is science. You have to have a lot of time and energy, and you have to want to clean up your whole kitchen after you bake. Even I who love baking, I don't want to do that often. I want the same delicious experience, but I don't want all of the work. And that's where I kind of fell in love with the concept of a consumer packaged product and the convenience it could give busy people and the fact that it could reach millions of people everywhere, every city, tiny, big city. Like we could all have access to the same better quality food. So a combination of falling in love with this idea of creating the next brand name in better for you, simple ingredient baking, like a brand that could actually be in supermarkets all over. And then also I tried to get other jobs and I just was miserable. And that's when the entrepreneur bug really sank in. And I realized I'm never going to be happy unless I do my own thing. And honestly, I think I was always searching for a way to turn that negative experience, health scare I went through into a positive thing so that it could kind of ignite my life in a really healthy, positive way versus be something that held me back. Starting Sweet Loren's really did all those things. I'm an entrepreneur just at heart. It helped me turn the negative experience of being diagnosed with cancer into like a superpower and strength. It really ignited this passion I found for bringing better for you foods to as many people as possible.
I couldn't love that story more. It's just an amazing story of turning a real challenge, finding your passion in that, and then moving forward to build a business for 15 years. That's amazing. Really.
Yeah, thank you.
A moment for the story there.
No, I appreciate that.
I'm curious because wife actually ran an allergy-friendly bakery in Austin where we were from for a while, and she has celiacs and a very similar thing where it's like, I can't find anything I like. I'm just going to do this thing myself and build on it. We have not created a nationally distributed brand, so I think I got to speak there. But I am curious because I think in talking with her, a lot of the things she wrestles with is, well, I have this passion for health and things, and I can do 100 different things with that. Where do I focus that? Before you hit on this cookie concept and baking idea, like were there other things like I'm going to go into medicine or things like that, or it like distilled pretty quickly for you?
Yeah, no, it's a good question because I chose baked goods as my vehicle for this, but the truth is it could have been a beauty product. It could have been a health, like a shampoo. It could have been a body lotion. Like I think there are many other products I potentially could have gone into just to clean up. But I think there was something that always drew me back to baking. And I think it's just the joy and happiness it creates. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, when I was like, if I could spend my time doing any type of business and it all could scale and all could be successful and all could make an impact, why wouldn't I do it in a category that genuinely just makes me happy? Every single time I give it to other people, the joy is insane that it gives to other people. And I truly felt like it was really unique. I think I've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours soul searching and testing all of these recipes together. And I grew up in New York City where I just was exposed to a lot of very high quality food. I worked at, I don't know if you guys know Loren Bakery.
Mm-hmm.
Before they expanded, I worked at their flagship location. It was my local bakery growing up. And when I look back at that, it's like I saw people line up around the blocks for their warm cookies. And there was just a magic. There was such a magic there. And I also saw how hard it was to open up a bakery. And that's also what inspired me to start a CPG product, because I was like, I don't want to have something open 7 days a week that I always have to go check in on. And I want to reach everyone in every type of city, because every type of American deserves this product versus just only major cities or a couple of cities I can open a bakery. So when I look back, it's like, yeah, it's kind of all of those things. And I just felt like my recipes were really, I just kept going back to them. I felt like they were really unique and special and different. And I felt like I had that unique combination of loving this industry, having a genuine passion for baking, having these recipes, and having this fire in my belly to like really make food better because of what I personally went through. I just was like, who else is going to fight this hard for this? It's too hard. It's such a hard industry to break into. It's nearly impossible that I just knew that who else is going to fight this hard? Someone that personally has gone through a health issue and is not going to give up until there's a certain quality of food that's out there. Yeah, for all those reasons, I jumped in. And I think when I realized how hard it was to be an entrepreneur and start your own thing, I was really glad I picked something that I just every day am passionate about, has that joy in it. Otherwise, I would have given up a long time ago.
Yeah. You mentioned scale and impact. I hope this is kosher because it was on your LinkedIn today, but I saw that you had like had a colonoscopy and the person who performed it was like shouting out the brand to you. And it's like, yeah, if you had gone into the traditional medical field, like I guarantee you somebody wakes up and isn't like, thank you, doctor. Like, I'm such a big fan of yours. You know? Yeah. So it's like, maybe you had the right path there.
You know, I had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and it's a different type of cancer that deals, it's more in your blood and lymph nodes. But I had a friend who's 38 years old and a mom of 3, and she passed away from colon cancer. And it made me just go like, all we can do, all of us, any of us can do is just fight for early detection of anything and just be ahead of the game and not be afraid to make that doctor's appointment and be proactive. And anyway, I did it proactively just to be like, health is everything to me, set up my appointment, go through the whole thing. I'm literally waking up. I'm still in my hospital gown. Like I'm still a little groggy. And the nurse just like a Sweet Loren's logo, my like phone case, and was like, oh my God, I'm your biggest fan. And just, and I just was like, hold on, I have to like video this because it's like just a moment in time where there aren't any boundaries anymore. But it makes my day. It makes my day. And there are a lot of people that have autoimmune issues, health issues. Someone in their family has a food allergy, whether it's dairy-free, gluten-free, nut-free, just changes your whole life. It changes the way your whole family eats. And so that's why I'm just so passionate about being allergen-free and really being like less inflammatory and simple ingredients, because every day we get emails from people that are like, you've changed my life. And it's not just, oh, we're doing cookie dough or kind of cute, fun stuff. It's like, it just feels like it's a lifestyle that's not accessible to a lot of people. And so like you really are changing lives and really bringing that joy to people. And so that's what truly I'm passionate about and gets me excited.
The passion like is clearly coming through. And that has to be kind of many founders that we talk to. The early days can be a bit of a roller coaster where you have the highs of your pinching yourself, can't believe I'm doing this. This is what I get to do. And then the challenges, the lows of, oh, dear God, is payroll going to make it? Like, what's it going to look like? The volatility in the economy, all sorts of different things can present challenges throughout the lifespan of a business. How has that looked for you, kind of weathering those highs and lows? And have you encountered that moment, that pinch me moment where you don't want to say out loud, like, okay, maybe we made it. We're moving here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the early years, I've gone through dozens of packaging iterations. The recipe has changed and improved over time. So I launched the product, let's say 12 years ago in Whole Foods, local in New York City, and slowly started to grow it across the country. There are definitely some big moments, but I'm glad I started small and local because I was that girl demoing in Whole Foods. and capturing really honest feedback from consumers. People say to me now, oh, back to your face, they would be honest to you. And I was like, oh my God, these are A, New Yorkers, and B,
too honest.
people in general. There is literally no sugarcoating. They will tell you exactly how they feel. And it was incredible because although it was hard to hear some of the feedback, like, oh, I can't read your flavors easily and your packaging colors need to change or whatever the feedback was, I just took it all in. And when I heard the same comments enough, it just was obvious to me that if I didn't change the packaging and improve it and make it easier for consumers, I wasn't going to improve the product and our sales and the relationship with the consumer. I just kept listening to the consumer and I just kept testing and learning. A major moment was going from like local Northeast to all Publix supermarkets and then all Kroger supermarkets within 1 year, and really kind of being found in every state, all the major cities. And the original recipe wasn't actually free of the top allergens, but I made it that way over time, honestly, based on feedback. People would say, like you, Jordan, my wife is gluten-free, so our family kind of eats gluten-free. Can you create a gluten-free line? Oh, my kid has a nut allergy, or my kid's school is nut-free. Can you create a nut-free line? And I'd be like, I can't create all of these different products.
Do you want to eat air?
It's so confusing, and there's not enough room on the shelf. I was like, how about if I just keep making the recipe? Obviously, taste is number one, but it doesn't need soy. Take out the soy lecithin in the chocolate. It doesn't need dairy. Take it out. I can do this without eggs and no one will ever know. Take that out. I can do this without peanuts and tree nuts and make it safe for kids in schools. I just kept really making it different than anything on the market, really value add and incremental to the category, and really solving a white space. Like there's no one doing this on a mass level scale. That's why Sweet Loren's has been successful and really value add to the category, because we're not a Me Too cookie dough brand. Now we have puff pastry and pizza dough and pie crust, but there's nothing else on the market like ours. And you can think about the millions of people that now come to the cookie dough section because they have a product that is delicious and is actually safe for their lifestyle or feels good. And even just as simple as not using anything artificial. We're the only nationally distributed cookie dough brand that doesn't use any artificial colors or flavors. Even that in itself is insane.
The Barbie sugar cookies.
Exactly.
Which were a big hit in my house.
Awesome. So we did this really cool collab with Barbie this year where we launched heart-shaped cookie dough that's naturally dyed pink by beets. It just tastes like a delicious sugar cookie. But again, we're not using any artificial colors or flavors. It sounds simple and it's like so on brand for us, but it's actually so revolutionary for the category.
We're sort of framing this series as category disruptors, right? Like finding that white space in the category and then being able to disrupt into it and pushing the incumbents aside. And I'm just curious for your specific category, I'm curious where you attribute that, because there's a few things that could be at play here. One is changing consumer preferences. You mentioned like 15 years ago, I couldn't find anything around this. I'd love to get your perspective on this, but the CPG shopper now is different than 15 years ago from a price sensitivity, from a knowledge perspective. But I'm also curious, other big CPG brands, holdcos, could do this and they just didn't. Is this you being closer to the customer and being able to innovate in a more nimble fashion? Like, where do you attribute your success for this disruption primarily? I'm curious.
A lot of the big companies could do a lot of things and they don't choose.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
I think they have other priorities and they're, let's say, $160 billion business. So are they really focused out of all the things they could launch into or work on, move into like what seems to be a more niche category, something like refrigerated doughs? And I just don't think it's part of their ethos. They don't stand for allergen-free. They don't stand for better for you. They don't stand for non-GMO. Their supply chain doesn't even support the ingredients and the sourcing that we've done. So I think anyone can do anything, but I think you have to genuinely be passionate about this and really care about the consumer, because it's not easy. And if you're really trying to solve a problem, you're not just throwing cheap ingredients in a package and sending it out. Like, we're super high quality. Everything's non-GMO, nothing artificial, but then it's also free of the top allergens. Like finding factories on plants to produce this that are allergen free, all of that. Like, it's a lot more complicated pulling this off. So for us, it's our DNA. It's why we exist. So it's easy for us because we've built our whole supply chain this way. It's what we stand for. And it's incremental. It's not even touching the conventional business. I think for all those reasons. But when I launched Sweet Loren's, in most supermarkets, there was like a weird gluten-free section.
I live in Spokane, Washington, and that very much still exists here. It's a certain type of person there that's like a little dustier than the rest of the store.
Totally.
Like, yeah.
And when I launched Sweet Loren's, it was kind of just as supermarkets were kind of confused about it. Like they were like, I don't even know what to do anymore, because now you need like a mini supermarket in a supermarket to pull that off. You have to have a separate refrigerated section, a separate dry goods section. And it's so complicated. And when I came in with Sweet Loren's, I was like, I am not being in some weird section. I want to be in main line right next to the big guys. That's where cookie dough is. People don't know a product like ours exists. I promise you, try us and we will grow your category and we will bring a whole new shopper and grow this category. And honestly, without Sweet Loren's, the cookie dough category is pretty flat or declining. Our success has been reigniting it and bringing in better for you shoppers, higher basket shoppers, millennials, Gen Z, people with food allergies who would literally just walk right by the section in the past. I think we're all way more educated. I think health being top of mind has only grown over the last several years, and COVID pushed that to be even more at the forefront. And now look at the government, like red dye, 4 is banned, and all of a sudden things that like I've been talking about for a decade are getting normalized. I think people are more educated than ever. And I think people are more aware of how food is making them feel. And a lot of people tell us they eat Sweet Loren's and they don't get a stomach ache. They don't get that crazy high sugar crash. And it's like, well, we're using whole grains. There's more fiber. We're not using anything artificial. We're not high sugar. It's still super delicious, but it's not overkill. And it's really something you can bring into your lifestyle so that you can eat it often and not feel bad. And I think people are just becoming more aware and they're willing to shop for more expensive products because of that. And anytime anyone says our cookie dough's expensive, it's like, well, it's definitely going to be $1 or $2 more than like the big guys. But if you were to try to make this from scratch at home, nothing is cheap anymore. Just to buy flour is going to cost you, I don't know, $5-10. Chocolate chips alone are $5-10. I mean, once you start putting all the ingredients together, we really save people a lot of money and time.
Not to mention, clean up. Yeah. You don't need to clean any mixing bowls or spatulas or anything.
And by the way, try to make this from scratch. It's really hard. Baking is, it seems all cute and sweet on the outside, but on the inside, it's such chemistry. It's such science that it's really hard. It's not like cooking where you can just add more sauce midway through while like your chicken's cooking. It's like, it really is science. So we've spent hundreds of hours perfecting it. And I think also it's a complicated product.
Yeah, I feel like Great British Bake Show all taught us that, like, maybe not as easy as we all thought to just get in and whip up a meringue. This brings up, obviously, you're very close to the product, the packaging, the consumer experience, and sort of how it meets the customer needs. Though Sweet Loren's has scaled dramatically over the years since it was first founded. And I'm just curious, the things that you're doing year 1 are different than year 5 and year 10. How do you, as a founder, make those assessments of like, okay, we've grown to a scale. I need to step back from this part so I can focus on the things I truly care about. What does that journey look like?
Yeah, that's been actually like the best part of this is I'm glad I started the business alone and jumped into all departments because I truly understand all parts of the business. I created the first formulas. I understand how complicated it is. And I understand the structure of our recipes. But once we started to kind of really grow nationally and scale, also, I'd been doing it several years. And then also I had my first daughter. I was like, something's got to change. My name is already on the package. I'm already so tied to the product, but I don't want the success of the business to have to be because of me so much. This needs to be a sustainable business that if I go on vacation, if I go on maternity leave, I don't actually hold back the success of the company. I hired an incredible president almost 3 years ago named Doug Rady. When he came on board, I then took maternity leave for my second daughter and kind of gave him the day-to-day running of the company. And when I came back from maternity leave, he was like, everything was just humming. And he was like, I got it. And he is so much smarter than me about processes and just the operational side of running a business and even people coaching people and people reporting to him. I'm a mom who wants to be an incredible CEO and run a business, but I also want to have family time. And I don't want to be on the computer at 5 o'clock every single night when my kids are coming home from school. I just don't. I really want to find balance, A, so I don't burn out, and B, so that I can have a fulfilling whole life. I started to really just be honest, like, what are the things that I don't love and that don't bring me joy? It's the really important stuff, like running the day-to-day of the business, negotiating the price of chocolate, dealing with our factories, like the day-to-day things that are so important for the success of a business, but don't really grow it. I want to focus, to me, on what my superpowers are, which is like very big sales meetings, anything with innovation and new product development, anything that's dealing with like vision of the company and where we're going in the future, our culture, anything with packaging, branding, how the brand looks and feels. I focus on those things that excite me and really help grow the company. Obviously, I'm the face of the brand. I do a lot of speaking engagements and interviews and things like that. So whatever I can do to get our name out there, grow the brand, make sure it's growing in the direction that always has felt right. And at the same time, build a sustainable business that's kind of run by this incredible team we have. It's been a decade. I could definitely be burned out. And instead, I'm like, I have more excitement than ever about our future. And it's because it's not all on my shoulders. I can actually be a mom and go skiing this weekend with my husband without kids. And it's like, oh, okay, I can have a whole life besides just this business too. Well, then I can keep going because it feels balanced.
It's smart to recognize what feeds you and also what depletes you and find people where what depletes you feeds them. I know just the secret to a good dance with me and Jordan is we have that. What feeds me, not his jam, but what depletes me, that's his jam. And I'm grateful for that all the time here.
It's a great partnership. Yeah, it's a great partnership.
It's important to be honest about.
Yeah, I think it takes maturity and it takes your ego. You have to throw your ego out the window. And I think you have to be very emotionally in tune with just the realities of what you love and what you don't love, and have enough confidence to be able to say, I'm not great at those things and I don't love those things. And by the way, I shouldn't be incredible at every single part of the business. Like no human is. I have superpowers. We all have superpowers. Let me focus my superpowers and let me surround myself with a team that is so much better at the operational, organizational detail, daily running and tracking of the business so that we're all happy and thriving.
Yep. That is the perfect recipe for that. Pun intended. I'm so clever. To the extent that you can, what are some of the things that you have on the docket next for Sweet Loren's? Anything exciting in development?
Oh, so many exciting things. Well, we're opening up an R&D center in Colorado next week. So I'm flying out tomorrow. Really exciting to have our own space for the first time. And we are launching, the Barbie Collab is going to end in June, and then we're going to launch a really exciting different partnership come July. So watch out for that, a brand new flavor.
Be on the lookout.
It's incredible. I'm so excited about that. And we're working on a ton of new products and just growing throughout more supermarkets. And we also actually have a really thriving food service business. We sell our cookie dough in bulk and other products to over 100 of the top universities in the country and fast casual restaurants. So it's really exciting to just keep growing.
That's amazing. Well, I really, really appreciate you coming on and talking with us today and sharing your story. I appreciate your commitment to putting out tasty, delicious, better for you options, especially as someone with a sweet tooth. I'm very grateful for the lane that you're in. Thank you for taking the time today. It was great talking with you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.